Good morning, good morning. Hope everybody's doing good this morning on a beautiful Saturday morning. Hope you got your coffee. I hope you're ready to go this morning. Got a few good articles. Hopefully it'll work out for us. Go over here and check. I don't think I got out over here, but I got out. Good deal. There we go. All right, welcome to Bonnie and Clyde's Morning Talk Show. And today's date is 6/20/2020. Welcome, welcome. And we'll have a look back at yesterday's market, which was down for the S&P, the Dow, and the NASDAQ was up, but the Russell 2000 was down. Gold and silver was up a little bit. Both of them well over 1%. That don't mean they're going to continue to go up, though. Gold and silver is in a little bit of a bind right now, it appears, but it could continue to go up. Let's hope it continues to go up. There's a good chance of it. Just don't want to make any false claims or anything, because the market, as long as they keep funding that market up, they're going to suppress gold and silver for sure. Yeah, as long as they keep that bubble going. And Bonnie and Clyde's finished down yesterday in the red. And with the market, we really don't have a whole lot to talk about it, just because it is a Saturday. No market today. So let's jump over to Twitterverse. Go ahead and get on out of the market. And our first thing over here on Twitterverse is the coin of the day from NGC, and they put out today another proof coin. The West Virginia celebrates the state's admission to the Union during the Civil War. West Virginia's state quarter was issued in 2005. So they put up a picture of a proof coin this morning. Let me stop my puppies from going crazy this morning. Stop. Get away from that door. Get away from the door. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Live. Dogs always see a cat in the backyard or something and go crazy. Alright. Over in Twitterverse still yet, it looks like the United States has put out an article, and they're just talking about symbolism on their coins. And the figure Lady Liberty has been a symbol used during the American Revolution. And they've got a nice little coin article out today. And you can always go over and check them out on usmint.gov, learn, and then history. And you'll be able to pull up whatever articles that they put out. And I think that's about it on the Twitterverse this morning. Let's go up here and make sure nothing else came in since I was last on this page. Now, let's check out the U.S. Mint sales, courtesy of Mint News blog. And we got the U.S. Mint sales week ending June the 14th. Every week we bring you this. And this week, the Mint's best-selling product is the 2020 U.S. Mint Proof Set plus the 2020 W Nickel M. They sold over 8,195 units. I'm sure the numbers went up since this article. And then in second place is the 2020 U.S. Mint Silver Proof Set this week. So they kind of swapped from a couple weeks ago when the Silver Proof Set was leading the way. This time it's the regular proof set with 7,343 and probably a few more since then. And third place this week, the basketball coin drops down from number 1 to number 3. The Basketball Hall of Fame $1 silver proof coin, 5,801 units sold. And then in fourth place, we drop down to the 2020 Basketball Hall of Fame clad 50-cent proof coin with 1,856 sold. And last but not least, the 2020 Hall of Fame Philadelphia silver coin with 1,561 sold. I was already looking ahead at the next little bit of an article there where I said sold, because this week saw a downward adjustment of 56 for the Frank Church River 5-ounce ones. So somebody must have canceled the order, 56 of them, or returned them. Got a couple returns there or cancellations, but that's not what we're talking about. So there's the mint sales for this week. And the U.S. proof sets 1 and 2, silver and regular sets. Again. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome. And now for the big news. I found the article this morning that came out. Which was, sorry about that. Everybody wants to know about this shortage of coins, and it is true. And we got an article from Reuters and in San Francisco, and I'm going to read a little bit of the article here so you guys can get a little bit of information about what's going on. I've already read it, but banks across the United States are facing a shortage of coins during the coronavirus crisis, prompting the U.S. Federal Reserve to ration distribution and work with the U.S. Mint to boost supply. With the partial closure of the economy due to the coronavirus crisis, the flow of coins through the economy has kind of stopped. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell told the U.S. Financial Services Committee. And making matters worse, the U.S. Mint has decreased production of coins due to measures put in place to protect its employees. Jerome Powell, I guess, says we are working with the Mint and the reserve banks, and as the economy reopens, we are seeing coins beginning to move around again. He made the remarks in response to a question from Tennessee Congressman John Rose, who said a bank in his district told him it would run out of coins by the end of the week because the Fed was only sending a portion of its usual order of coins. And then it goes on and says, We all don't want to wake up to the headlines in the near future, such as bank runs out of money, he said. So, banks don't know what to tell their customers. Powell said he was well aware of the issue and believed it would be temporary. We feel like we're making progress, Powell says. So the Fed on Monday told them the banks it is working with the mint to increase supply, but that until the shortage can be cured would limit the number of pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters it sends them to ensure a fair and equitable distribution of coin inventory. Allocations will be based on the bank's historical patterns of coin orders. So, if your bank was probably used to having more coins in it and holding more coins and distributing more, they'll probably continue to get the majority of what they usually ordered anyways. Some of the smaller banks may see a little bit of a loss in coins. So if you're dealing with some of the smaller banks, it may be harder on you to get coins for sure. So I figured everybody would like that. I figured everybody would find that article interesting. So it is true about coins are being rationed, but it doesn't say anything about the half dollars. So that's a good thing. But still, those quarters, a lot of people hunt those quarters, trying to get those W's. All right, that's all we have with that article. And then let's jump over to Coin Week, where they put out an article on a guide to collecting the Indian head penny. I guess the author is Bullion Shark. So, as they jump over and start talking about the Indian head pennies, they make note of how the Indian head pennies is one of the more common collections of coins, just because you can still put together a really decent set of Indian head pennies for less than $3,000. And if you spend even more on some of the higher grade, was not the highest grade, but some higher grade coins, for a few more thousand, you can get a really, really, upgraded collection of the Indian head cents. And let's talk about, we'll go ahead and run through this real quick. There's 3 different types of the coins. And the type 1 was issued only in 1859 and was composed of a mixture of 88% copper and 12% nickel. And the reverse that year consisted of an olive or laurel wreath surrounding the denomination, and the coin, which is common in most grade but scarce in the proof, is popular with type collectors. Then there's a type 2, and those coins were issued from 1860 to 1864 and featured a modified wreath made of an oak and other leaves. And then, since the coins were issued just before the Civil War started and the southern states was threatening to succeed, a Union shield was added at the top of the reverse. Also, the letters in 1 cent or fuller. And then it says 1861 coins are the lowest mintage, but also the best struck of those coins. And then the 1862 and the 1863 coins of those years are the most common. And then there's the Type 3 coin. The Type 3 coin was issued from 1864 to 1909 and was made of a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, which is a kind of a bronze metal. And that's the reason they made them just a little bit. You could tell when you go back and look at some of those Indian head pennies, there's different widths, thicknesses to them. And that the Type 3s are the skinniest of those. And it says they're lighter and thinner than the earlier coins. So I know a lot of people look at those coins and say, man, is that thing fake? Because you can see the difference. When you hold them up in a roll, you can see the difference in the thickness and thinness of them. And the coins from this period, the 1864 to the 1909 and 95% copper, were not only at the Philadelphia, like the Type 1 and Type 2, but also were included the San Francisco Mint. They also feature several key dates as well as some scarce variety coins, especially the 1864 with the small L in the proof of which 35 coins are known. The auction record for this was in 2013 when it sold for proof 66 for almost $130,000. Way. And then they said there's a couple other ones. It's got the Double Liberty in the 1873 and then the 1888-87 over date and then the 1894 double date. So that's the article for the Indian head pennies as far as I'm going to go with it. If you guys want to check it out, you can go over to Coin Week and you'll be able to pull it up. It should be right there on the front page. And I got another article here that I want to check out before we leave this little section. And it's about gold. Everybody loves gold. And the little article come out, and people that's investing in gold seem to be feeling like they're getting frustrated. And the thing about that is, gold is and silver, the metals, you just don't get frustrated if you feel like you bought some gold and the price isn't going your way right now. It's all right, because gold and silver are an investment of wealth. When you buy that, you are actually retaining wealth. You're not going to go out and buy a cheeseburger or a pair of pants or a car most of the time. There is some cars that actually go up in value after many years. But you're retaining your wealth. It's something that you'll be able, in a few years down the road, look back and say, okay, I spent my money on this piece of gold and now I can still get this money for this piece of gold right now. And that's how you retain wealth. So that's what everybody keeps talking about when they say building wealth. And the more you buy, the more you put off and save like that, it is something that's definitely making you wealthier instead of poor when you're just spending it on whatever. Anyway, so back to the article. My rant's over. My advice, I should say. Many gold investors are frustrated right now because they say they bought gold at $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 an ounce, and They were in the big expectation that gold was going to run up over $2,000. Well, that's not usually how it happens. Sometimes you can catch something and you can buy it lower and it jumps up real quick, but it's not usually how it happens. But there has been more and more articles about, you know, gold and silver that's kind of getting more interest in it, and the more interest that something gains, the more popular it becomes. Supply and demand. Supply goes down, demand goes up, prices go from down to up. That's just the way it's always worked with things. So a lot of them feel like it should be way over $2,000. But just give it a little bit more time. You didn't waste that 15, 16, or $1,700 that you paid. You still got that money right there. So it didn't go. You didn't just throw it away. But you didn't get immediate $2,100 back in return for your $1,500 in 30 days. That's what seems to be upsetting people, and it's kind of a unrealistic outlook on things sometimes. But anyway, it is a store of wealth, and prices are being talked about as they're going to go up as things get worse and worse, and people fall away from the fiat currency and start looking and saying, wait a minute, my dollar that I had doesn't buy nowhere near as much, but my gold is still worth this, it's still worth a good chunk, and it's gaining value once that transition happens. It will happen. Sooner or later, it will happen. But anyway, I just wanted to bring a little good news to a gold article that I seen, talking about how people were getting frustrated and stuff about their gold investment. Don't worry about it. Kick back, take a longer look at it, relax, and just wait for it to come to you. It don't have to run to it. Just kick back and wait for it to come to you. All right. Let's look at the weather. Let's check out the weather and see what the weather looks like around the nation. Good to see you in the chat. Yeah, thanks a lot. Wonderful. All right, let's see where the hot zones are this morning. And it looks like the hot zone is in southern Texas. Uh-oh, I missed it. I am wrong. Pulled it out. It looks like the hot spot in the United States is in Arizona, coming in at 89 degrees. If that's not in California, because it looks like it's on California, I don't know where Lake Havasu City is, but wherever that is in California or Arizona, it is 89 degrees, and that's the hot spot for this morning. Temperatures are starting to wake up. And let's look across the nation. It looks like you're all up and down the East Coast. We got low 70s to mid 70s until you get down into the Georgia, Florida, where it's in the mid 80s. And then out to the middle of the United States, you look like you got high 70s, low 80s, all the way up the Mississippi River until you get the Minnesota area in the northwest. And then mountain time zone where it starts to drop down into the 60s. And Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, North and South Dakota, Minnesota, all that area is in the low 60s. Colorado coming in the middle 50s. So the Four Corner area is in the 50s and 60s, except for Arizona, and the southern part of Arizona is hot. Texas reporting 70s. Then out into the west, California in the 60s. Oregon and Washington seems to have a heat wave in the 60s, the low 60s. Idaho in the middle 50s. And it's hard to believe that the cold temperatures have moved out of the northwest for now. It's starting to warm up a little bit out there, so that's good for you guys. I know you are dying to see the end of winter. Looks like you're going to get wet out there in the west, though, in the northwest, Washington, Oregon. And got some more precipitation in the middle of the country at Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa area. And scattered showers, Oklahoma, in the eastern part of Oklahoma and the eastern part of Texas with some scattered showers. And then on the east coast, looks like you got some rain showers in the Carolina and Virginia east coast. And that's about it for the weather, guys. So let's check out what we got over here. I was able to pull up an article, a good news article. And about the one I want to talk about today was out in California. They've got a leading California-based charity, and last week they announced that it was on pace for a 15% increase in organ donation over the last year's record-setting numbers, despite COVID-19 going on. So they said it's a non-profit, and eye and tissue that's needed across the country for other people to help them survive. And so organ donations are up to help people that are in need of organs and stuff like that. So that's about the best article I could come up with. I guess you can look at that as good news. Somebody's getting another chance at life, but the bad news is somebody passed away. 9 times out of 10 to give up those organs. And let's finish it off with a whole lot better good news article. It says the Senate just passed the Great American Outdoors Act, allocating billions to national park and public lands. So there we go, guys. The Senate has put some money forward to upgrading and fixing up national parks across the United States. Over $13 billion worth of fixing up. So when you go out and you go to a national park, you may see things getting done, fixed up. And that's always a good thing, putting money back into the economy and preserving our national parks. As long as they don't get caught up in the riots and people start going and destroying those too. Man. Anyway, that's definitely a good article to end the day with. So that'll do that. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it, even though I may be boring every once in a while. Sorry about that, friends. Yeah, take the good with the bad. Thanks for joining us this morning. We do appreciate it. Good morning, good morning. You caught me right at the end. Thanks a lot, guys, for joining me. I do appreciate each and every one of you for joining us. And you guys have a great Saturday. Happy hunting. Stay safe. Hope it's beautiful where you are. And we'll see you guys tonight, 9 o'clock, hunting halves. Have a great day, y'all.